Hello and welcome back to another Uncle Tat's Creative Shack video. Here in front of us we have from the HG Build Fighters series the Striker GNX Mario Renado's mobile suit. This is 1/144th scale. Stand is not included, but it's up there just to show you guys all the posability that he can do. So this is basically straight out of the box, no painting. I did use the stickers it came with. It didn't come with very many, but it did come with stickers for the green, or the light green, light greenish gray details on the backpack wings. It came with the dark bluish gray stickers for the hands and the elbow joints, as well as some purplish colored ones for the eyes up there. Just go around and look a little bit more at the other sides of it, and then we'll get into articulation. As for articulation, the head does not do much at all. It barely moves side to side, but you can lift that helmet piece off with the purpley stickers on there, and instead you are left with a smaller head that also has some purple stickers in there for the eyes. It does not do very much in the form of articulation either, so it's kind of slightly disappointing. You'd want to be able to pose the head in more ways than just, barely side to side, but with this particular mobile suit you cannot do that. The arm articulation is great, and let me take off the backpack and we can actually talk about that separately. So for arm articulation, you've got your 360 swivel there. It can go forward and backward, and knock off a chest piece. If there's one thing I would say about this set that it could benefit from is glue. Some of these pieces fall off a little too easily than I'd like them to. We have a shield piece, and that can actually be detached. Let's see, there we go. Exposing some of the arm. And standard elbow. It can only go to 90 degrees. I mean, it can't go all the way up, which is a little disappointing. You'd want it to go a little bit higher than that maybe, but you could always swivel the shoulder. Hands are just on a standard ball joint. Turning him around. This skirt really doesn't move much, but could use, again, it could use some glue to make it a little bit more stable. Waist articulation is fine. It can swivel. You can probably swivel all the way around. Legs. Get the sword out of the way. Leg articulation doesn't really go up too terribly high. Good knee bend. And look, another piece that broke off. Well, popped off. I find those pieces to pop off pretty easily. Okay, that was for the feet. I've removed the backpack. It makes it easier for demonstrating some of the articulation of this. The head really does not move much at all. A little bit of swivel. Up and down doesn't really work either because the whole headpiece, or the armor headpiece, just comes off. You are left with a much smaller head that you can kind of see in there. Not much, not too fancy, but I kind of like that. I like this instead of the typical Gundam style looking heads. This is kind of a neat mobile suit, which is why I got it in the first place. Your shoulders, ball and socket joint can spin all the way around, can come forward, can come backward a little bit. Okay, the shield is standard peg into socket. That can come off. You can actually replace it on the other side if you'd like. The elbow joint only goes to there. So it goes out and then about 90. It doesn't go all the way up though. And then the hands are on ball joints. Okay, as for the legs The legs don't really splay out more than that, but the feet are such that they can bend in quite a bit, so it's very stable when it's standing. A lot of bulkiness here, but it does bend out of the way. You've got these rear leg pieces that can hinge up out of the way, and that allows the leg to bend quite a ways up, actually. You can get a fairly dynamic pose like this. Rear skirt doesn't do much either, but definitely could use a benefit of being glued. As for the feet themselves, oh, there goes that piece. The feet themselves, they do rock back and forth, and what fell off is just probably like a little ankle guard, and he would be good for some glue as well. There are gray stickers on that piece, as well as on the hands and elbows. Some small gray stickers there. Okay, coming back around the front, waist articulation does go side to side. He can actually spin all the way around, so he's got really good articulation in that respect. As for the backpack, okay, the backpack is pretty cool and comprises most of the stickers actually that come with this set. You've got 4 light greenish gray colored stickers that go on the front. They actually are just one sticker that wraps all the way around. So as for movability, these pieces here can hinge or rotate, both of them can, and they can go all the way around. Also, the whole wing assembly can be rotated, as well as the very tip of the wing, and also they have an arm extension. So there's quite a lot of articulation in the backpack. You can pretty much put it in any position you want. Again, these are independent of each other, so you can have one go one way, you can have one go the other way. These can be folded back in. Yeah. And there's that. And the mobile suit stripped down to basically its basic components here has other tricks up its sleeve. These side skirt pieces can be swiveled out of the way like this, or brought back together again. And then a surprise of the whole thing is this chest armor. You can actually pop that right off, and then you've got this like purple, it's a sticker inside of a clear transparent piece. So it's just like a metallic sticker. It's the biggest sticker of the whole set. And yeah, it's without the armor on, it sticks out, but almost doesn't make sense to do that because I think most of the time you're going to want to have your armor on the chest, but I guess it's just so that you know that it's there. And as for weapons, we have this large beam cannon machine gun thing. It's really crazy. It's got some movable handles. These can be positioned like that, snapping them in and out. Can be bent down, snapped up. It is to be held this way with the handles up. It also has a beam saber handle that's used in the front of the weapon. So you could put your beam effect piece on that. And as you can see, when you stand it up next to the Gundam, it is really tall. He's got no problems holding on to it, though. He can bounce really well. So you do get this large beam cannon. You also get, as mentioned, you get your beam sabers. So you actually get 2 effect parts, and you get 2 handles as long as you take the other one out of the gun. You get, of course, the smoke dischargers. These just apply to the outside of really either shoulder, but I think the directions have you put it onto the right shoulder like that, but can go either way. You do have an open expressive hand with 1 sticker on the back side of it, as opposed to the 2 closed fist hands that I have on there right now. Of course, his armor helmet piece, which basically just slides on. in place like that. You do get a shield, and you also get another shield. You actually get 2 of these shields in this set. I'll go over that with the spare parts here in a minute. It depends how you like it. I kind of like it where, I don't know, I think I like more like symmetry with this than I do asymmetry. So I would like to have a shield on that arm and a shield on the other arm. If you like to, you can do that. You have another shield and it will just plug right into where the smoke discharger is. And there he is with the beam cannon in his hands. Backpack is now in place again, and he's got no problem holding that beam cannon kind of in that position though. I think if you, well, there he goes. I think if you raised him up too much, he'd probably fall. And actually that was on a, that's not his fault, that's because the back part of this backdrop is at an angle. Let's get his feet just right again. Yeah, normally he's very stable with that gun in the way. He's still very stable. Okay. It's definitely a very large weapon, not something that definitely looks very cumbersome though, I would think, but does remind me of the smart guns from the movie Aliens. As for spares of this set, this is what you get. You get bunch of polycaps as usual. That's nothing different. These polycaps, which were interesting in the set, was that these were just left in the set like this. They weren't attached to any sort of major sprue or anything like that. They were just thrown in there. So of course you do have an extra shield. It's not mentioned in the directions, but you can totally use it, like I said, to, you know, create that symmetry, to have a shield on each side of the shoulder. This piece here, I'm imagining it goes on the back. I've seen other Gundams that have something like this on their back, and it's a 2-piece affair with a light greenish gray here, and then of course the medium gray. I just snapped the 2 pieces together just to keep them together. These look like, to me, a different type of foot piece. So you get a couple of those. You get a couple of these, which I'm guessing are either maybe arm guards of some sort. It was 2 pieces sandwiched together, and you get 2 of those. I have no idea what this is. This is a 2-piece assembly sandwiched together as well. Looks like something that would go in a backpack with some different connectors there for something. As well as a little, looks like a trailer hitch. Don't know what that's for. Handle for, potentially for a machine gun or some sort of beam rifle. Don't know what this is. Potentially another shield piece, or maybe, yeah, it's got some inside detailing to it as well as some outside. In the kit, totally. In the directions, it does mark out all these pieces as X's, as pieces you don't need for the set. So I'm guessing it's potentially for a different variant or version of this particular model suit. As for my final thoughts on this model, I actually really like the way it looks, but until I did the review, I didn't realize to what extent pieces fall apart on it. So it definitely requires glue. If you want certain pieces, like, you know, the hands, the back of the hands fall off quite easily. The back of the forward part of these ankle armor, those definitely fall off real easy. The back skirt falls off. There's a lot of pieces that just fall off real easy. It's kind of sad to say, but it is an HG kit, so it's definitely not master grade or you know, anything, you know, master or anything higher than that. It's definitely just a smaller set. I don't know, I forget how much I paid for it. It's probably about $20 or under $20 for it, so it's it's definitely not fancy in any respects. But, and there you go. As you can see, it falls off the back skirt very easily. It doesn't hold itself up at all. I'm going to leave that in the review because that's how bad I think this thing is. It just falls apart. It does not like to be handled with at all unless you glue it. So there you have it. It's okay. It needs to be glued. It needs to be painted. And it just needs to be done. I'm glad I finished this review. It's pretty bad in my opinion. But thanks for watching, and hopefully my next Gundam model review will be a lot better than this one. Thank you.